you only become a narrator of the obituary. The president of the ANC is a known leader, grew up from the student movement in the University of the North. He led the student, he's a graduate, and he completed his study. Thereafter, go to work and join the unions and establish the National Union of Mine Workers. He is, as we are seated here, was seated with the first General Secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers, the one who organized and established it. But also he was part of the struggles of the United Democratic Front. Upon the unbanning of the ANC, he led the ANC as the Secretary General of the ANC. And after that, or during that point, he did a number of things to help our country go through transition to a democratic era. He also served as a leader of the ANC in the negotiations that saw the country transiting to the democratic breakthrough. He presided over the process of drafting the constitution that we have today. But also, he continued to serve as the leader of the ANC and has been in the NEC of the ANC since 1990, serving as the General Secretary and later as the Deputy President of the ANC. In the last conference at Nazareth, as the ANC, we elected President Cyril Ramaphosa as the President of the ANC, and subsequent to that, he became the President of our country. But for him, it is not only the past. He is the one also who was the chair of the National Planning Commission that produced this futuristic NDP that is a developmental framework for all of us in South Africa. He has come with interventions to grow the economy of this country with a clear determination to ensure that at least South Africa enjoys 5% annual growth and reduce unemployment as we are directed by the National Development Plan. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, please join me. Let us all stand up and welcome President Cyril Ramaphosa to talk to us this evening. Viva President Ramaphosa, viva! Mandela!
Program Director, members of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, Chairperson of our province here in KwaZulu-Natal, Comrade Sihle Zikalala, and members of the Provincial Executive Committee present here, ministers, MECs, members and leaders of the Musa Dladla Regional Executive Committee, religious leaders who are amongst us here, business leaders, community-based leaders, members and leaders of our alliance partners, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Musa Dladla region is a rather special region to me in many, many ways. I have a wonderful T-shirt I was given, clearly written Musa Dladla region. I'm afraid to wear it most of the time because I keep it as a special memento in my wardrobe And it's wonderful to know that coming to Musa Dladla as the second largest region of the ANC for me is a rather special event. What makes it even more special is what the pastor said when he led us in prayer. I came here 6 months ago, and we will be talking about it a lot more tomorrow. And when I came here 6 months ago, the community here raised a particular challenge and problem in relation to their economic life, social life, and we addressed it, and tomorrow we are celebrating in a fairly big way the success of having resolved that problem and challenge. So it was all done. I'm here today because the pastor here urged me to do it. And he said, use your presidential powers. And yes, I use those presidential powers. That's why we are here tomorrow. Thank you so much. I convey revolutionary greetings from the National Executive Committee of the ANC, particularly colleagues who are here as members of the ANC. But tonight it is a fundraising night. It's a night for networking. It's a night to be together, for the ANC to meet with business people and to network in the most wonderful way. It is a pleasure to see the ANC being so well supported by business people. And much as one of you said that it is an expensive dinner. Yes, it is a bit expensive, but it is expensive in our collective interests. So when you are here, even as you pick up a piece of meat, just know that you are contributing to our collective interests, so that this country can work and so that we can succeed at everything that we are doing. We are really truly heartened by the presence of the business community and the support that they are demonstrating to the ANC. I am delighted to see a region of the ANC being able to gather so many business people to a fundraising dinner for them to raise funds for the work that they are doing as an organization of our people. And like any other organization, the ANC needs resources. It needs resources to function properly at all levels, particularly because it is involved in a quest to build a truly united, a truly non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, but more importantly for you as business people, a prosperous society. This is what the ANC stands for, and this is what the ANC is seeking to achieve. Needless to say, beyond the main purpose of raising funds, platforms such as these indeed give us an opportunity to also reflect on a number of issues, business issues, economic issues, and also see and hear where there may be challenges and how those challenges could be resolved. Next year will see us participate in the most contested general election to date. For us to secure an overwhelming majority, we need to strengthen our contact with the electorate. By implication, this means that we need to take advantage of the omnipresent character of the ANC. The success of this mission lies heavily in the preparatory work that we need to do. And we have already started with this preparatory work. It will require that we maintain a very sound financial position so that our efforts are not only hamstrung or frustrated by financial constraints. And this is where you come in. We come in here because, as one of your colleagues was saying earlier, the success that black business people have achieved thus far is largely because the ANC government has opened up a lot of opportunities for black business people. That is a truth that cannot be denied. And we can reflect on where we come from. Where we come from is a situation where black business people were relegated to the backwaters of our rural areas, of our townships, and they were never even allowed to own even a little shop in the city center, which is where business gathered and which is where business was conducted in a big way. They were always in the back streets and they were always relegated to conducting small businesses. And to me, it is actually a real joy, as a person who dabbled a little bit in business and being a failed businessman. It's a joy to see how black business people are succeeding. But more importantly, it's also a joy to see all business people, whether they be black or white, all succeeding, grasping the opportunities that exist and moving our economy forward. When we got into government in 1994, our GDP was much smaller than what it is today. We have doubled that GDP. The people who were employed in our economy were 8 million. Today, the people who are employed in our economy are 16 million. We've doubled the employed people in our economy. So the success that we have achieved is quite phenomenal. And this is so because we've opened up opportunities, and your presence here means that you are confirming that the ANC government is truly on the right path. It is transforming our country. It is changing things in our country for the better, despite the challenges that we are facing at the moment, which I'll come to. So we rely on you who are here today as progressive and underline, we call you progressive business people and leaders of various sectors of our society, to ensure that we continue unhindered in our struggle to create a better life for all our people. In the end, the ANC is your movement. It is your home. It is an organization that you can have confidence in to move South Africa forward. This is your ANC that we are talking about tonight. Now, many South Africans always and often ask themselves, where are we going to as a country? This is normal. And at times of challenges and difficulties, people will always ask, where are we going to? And at times we seem to be afflicted with a quest to become clairvoyants. And clairvoyance is almost like kunalento ukuthi mhlambe singaba isangoma sikwazi ukulahlela amathambo phansi sibone ukuthi siyaphi as a country, and how we can read through the looking glass and get to know where are we headed to, what is happening, and so forth. And unbeknown to us, we have someone who has been trying to tell us where we are headed to in years to come. And that person is the National Development Plan, who presents us with a very clear political, social, and economic conjuncture that says, now in 2030, we live in a country which we have remade. We have created a home where everybody feels free, yet bounded by others, where everyone embraces their full potential. And we are proud to be a community that cares in 2030. We have received the mixed legacy of inequalities in opportunity and in where we have lived, but we have agreed to change our narrative of conquest, oppression, and resistance. We felt our way towards a new sense of ourselves, trying, succeeding, making mistakes, proclaiming success, and closing our eyes to failure, feeling oriented and disoriented at the same time through our own actions, affirming some realities and denying some realities, proclaiming openness to the world, yet courting insularity, eager to live together, yet finding it difficult to recognize shared burdens, learning to recognize and acknowledge the shared successes. Our story is open-ended with temporary destinations only for new paths to open up once more. It is a story of unfolding learning. Even when we flounder, we remain hopeful. In this story, we always arrive and depart. We have come a long way. Now in 2030, our story keeps growing as if spring is always with us. Once we uttered the dream of a rainbow, now we see it, living it. It does not curve over the sky. It is refracted in each one of us at home, in the community, in the city, and across the land, in an abundance of color. When we see it in the faces of our children, we know there will always be for us a worthy future. Now, those close quotes, that is the preamble to the National Development Plan, for those who have cared to read it. Now, for those of you who will be around in 2030, I don't know how many of you will be around in 2030. I intend to be there. You will remember that the seeds of these achievements, of those achievements we look forward to, will have had their genesis in 1955. Now, 75 years later, the South Africa of our dreams will be fulfilled as presaged in the National Development Plan. Our current conjuncture is that we are on a journey to see to the realization of the National Democratic Society as envisaged in the lodestar document of our revolution, the Freedom Charter. This journey has a number of signposts and will have a number of them as we proceed on this irrevocable path. As we move along this journey, we will see many signposts that tell us that, yes, keep going straight, divert, don't go this way, there's a danger road and all that. 10 months ago, we held a very successful ANC conference. The 54th conference of the ANC was one of those important signposts. That conference gave us a new signpost along this journey that we have embarked upon. The conference took epoch-making decisions and declared that the ANC should forge ahead to build a society that was envisaged by our forebears, the National Democratic Society, which is underpinned by the values espoused in the Freedom Charter, a society that will be non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and prosperous, a society that will be united in its diversity, in which we can truly say that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. That was the signpost. The other decisions that it took are quite many, but it took clear decisions on fast-tracking radical economic transformation for our people and to ensure that they play a critical role in the economy of our country. Now, you don't find many organizations that will upload and put right in the front line of what they discuss the issue of radically changing the economy of their country and make sure that the economy grows as a result of the entry of those who have always been held back so that they too can play a key role in the economy of their country. We also took a very clear and forward-looking decision on the question of land to finally bring an end to the nightmare of apartheid by ensuring that black people do get security of tenure with regards to land. And many people often don't understand this. Black people never really had security of tenure. A few weeks ago, I accompanied Comrade Sihle Zikalala and a number of other comrades in the government of our province to go to Kokstad, to go and hand out title deeds to a number of our people out there. They got houses, but they never had security of tenure. They never had a document that showed that this belongs to them. Now, this has been a deep quest in the hearts and the minds of our people to be able to have this important asset, land, in their hands. one of the measures that was taken at the conference was that should be utilized. One of the measures is that we should expropriate land without compensation. Other measures will also include restitution of land, releasing state-owned land, and making sure that there is redistribution of land. Now, tomorrow, we are going to be celebrating the restitution of land to the Mkwanazi community here, to give back dignity to our people, to make sure that that dignity that was taken away from them, when their land was taken, and they were pushed out of their land, and they could only look at their land from afar, knowing deep down in their hearts, in their historic hearts, in the hearts of their forebears, that that was their land. Tomorrow, we are healing that wound that was inflicted many years ago. We are restoring the dignity of quite a number of people to the community. And that is a demonstration of the program that we are now going to speed up to make sure that our people do get their land. And we will use a number of measures to restitute land, to redistribute land, to expropriate land, to do all that to make sure that our people do get dignity and the wound that was inflicted on our people is healed. Conference also decided that only the ANC is the only organization in our country which is most capable of leading the transformation of our country. We looked around, and almost scientifically, and checked whether there is any other that can lead the transformation of South Africa. And we found, after a big search, that there was only one organization, and that is the African National Congress. Conference also said that the ANC must remain united and embark on its own journey of renewal, renewing itself, strengthening itself, and its leaders must build unity and not leave it to chance. We had a wonderful as our important task. Now, I keep hearing the very good stories of how unity is being inculcated, it is deepening, and it is spreading. I'm pleased as I go to various regions of the ANC here to hear how comrades in the African National Congress are reaching out to each other and making sure that they build unity, where comrades may have had difficulty in even talking to each other are now beginning to talk to each other and holding hands. Now, KZN, I always say, being the largest province in terms of ANC in the country, always leads on a number of fronts. And I say that unapologetically because KZN is a pace setter. It's always ahead of the curve. It's always leading on a number of things. Now, on the unity journey, because it is a journey, particularly after Nazareth, it has been a journey. It has had its twists and turns. It has had its own diversions and so on. But the road is clear, and it is in KZN where I am finding that comrades more and more are joining this road towards unity and consolidating that unity. And that is peace. Now, it is really good to have the business community amongst us today, joining us in this quest of uniting the ANC, consolidating the ANC, because, as one of the business people said, when the ANC is united, in business you feel it. There is success, there is great business opportunities. When the ANC is disunited, it messes up your businesses. Isn't it? Yeah. So that is why unity in the ANC is in your interest. And that is why the ANC must be sufficiently resourced at all levels to execute its historic mandate. In this regard, we call upon you all gathered here to continue investing in the ANC with the full understanding that investing in the ANC is in itself a revolutionary act. So that even if you are a businessman, by investing in the ANC, you are becoming a revolutionary. And there's nothing wrong in becoming a revolutionary. We thank you for that. Now, in a way, you can look at it in business terms. And we say, yes, support the ANC. By supporting the ANC, we are saying you are investing in the future of our country. And in a way, you are becoming a shareholder of some sort in the ANC because you now have a direct interest. You want this organization to succeed. You want this organization to remain united. And we call on you as progressive business to invest more in the economy as well of our country in order to create jobs, to drastically reduce poverty. The importance of your investment in strategic sectors of our economy cannot be overemphasized, precisely because it will help secure meaningful participation in the economy by the majority of our people. And already, as we were coming into this meeting room, I was overjoyed to, just in talking very briefly to a number of business people, to hear that many of you are involved in real serious businesses. You are involved in various sectors of our economy and you are serious business people. Now that is pleasing because we want to work together with business and act in unison to silence the skeptics and affirm that South Africa will succeed under the ANC and that the objectives of the national democratic revolution will be achieved. Another of the signposts that we've identified is growing our economy and doing everything we can to focus on what would generate growth and create jobs. It is against this background that our government has embarked on a $100 billion investment drive. It's 1.3 trillion rand that we want to come and be invested in our country. Let me underscore that although this investment drive does, yes, emphasize on foreign direct investment, its very basis is local investment. We are confident of the success of this investment drive because of the overall positive mood that has engulfed our country since the ANC Nasrec conference. And as you've heard, Comrade Sihle says we've already hit the 35% mark of raising this 1.3 trillion rand to be invested. Now, that is a phenomenal achievement, which is going to be confirmed in just 2 weeks when we hold this conference or this summit. I will be meeting with local business people next week to get a real sense of their commitment to invest in our economy, because we want South African business people or businesses to be the ones that demonstrate their own commitment to invest in our economy. We've met them on a number of occasions. They have raised their own concerns such as policy uncertainty, policy inconsistency, bureaucratic logjams, visa issues, and so forth and so forth. They raised all those issues and we said, fine, we will address these issues because they are important in your lives as business people. And since we came out with the stimulus package, we feel that we should now meet them again and have real serious discussions and say, we've addressed these issues, we now expect you to make real commitments on what you are going to invest in your own economy. Because it is when South African businesses invest in our economy that the others from offshore will then follow. There is things that are being done incorrectly. We are working on that, and so that will culminate in our investment drive as we hold this conference, and we call on black business to participate and contribute meaningfully to the success of this initiative. Another important signpost along the way has been the holding of the Job Summit. We held a Job Summit recently, and the Job Summit was an opportunity for the 4 partners in our country to sit down and talk about how we can create jobs. And they came up with more than 70 interventions that we need to embark upon to create jobs. It was pleasing to see and hear all these top-class trade unionists, community-based organizations, business leaders, and government leaders sitting for 2 days talking about all these interventions. And It was held under the auspices of Minister Mildred Oliphant, who led the charge. And I thank her not only because she's here, but because she has done a fantastic job. Now, for us, this was an important signpost, particularly because we are going through a turbulent period in our economy. But what we are seeking to do is not only to have signposts, but also to have foundation stones to build a very important and firm foundation of being able to use that as a springboard to take our economy forward. Another important signpost that we are going towards is to have a health summit. We are going to have a health summit to address some of the challenges that our people encounter at the health sector level. Our hospitals are facing huge challenges. We are going to have a summit. People are going to come up with ideas, wonderful ideas, of how we can repair our health situation. The other one we're going to have is the Gender Summit. Gender Summit towards the end of the month, where we are going to come face to face with a huge problem that our country faces right now of gender-based violence, the raping of women, killing of women, abuse of young children as well. We are going to come face to face with that, and we are going at the Gender Summit come up with real solutions of how we can reduce and eliminate the scourge of gender-based violence in our country. This is a most important task that we have decided to undertake, and we want to use it as one of the foundation stones to build a better society as we advance to a national democratic society. We are putting the pillars and foundation stones of a South Africa that is determined to address the many deficits that accumulated over the past few years. Other foundation stones we find along the path are addressing the challenge of governance failure that weakens service delivery. Dealing with corruption is one of those foundation stones we need to put in place. That we should be able to deal with corruption in a most effective manner. Nobody loves corruption except those who are perpetrators of corruption. Our people abhor and hate corruption. And to ensure that those who get involved in acts of corruption and malfeasance, we need to hold them accountable for their deeds. That's what we need to do. But not only that, there needs to be consequence management. If people have done wrong against the people of South Africa, they must know that there will be consequences, and that the consequences are going to be quite harsh against them. Now, the VBS saga is the most concerning one, just as much as the Steinhoff saga as well. We need to speed up the process of ensuring that those who have done wrong against our people should be made to account without delay. It hurts our people when they see those people who are involved in all these corrupt activities just carrying on with their lives as though nothing has happened. And they carry on having stolen our people's money. And we say that must come to an end. We must act with speed against people who do wrong things against our people. So, these acts of corruption, we want to bring an end to how they just occur with ease. Those who are responsible must be accountable, and they must be dealt with without any form of delay. These are the issues that we are wanting to address, to put in place the foundation stones of making sure that this South Africa that we are building is indeed a South Africa which will be rooted on a strong foundation. It weakened over the past few days, and we want to strengthen that foundation. We want to make sure that we regain our strength. The deficits that have accumulated should be brought to an end. And internationally, our country is being looked at with fresh eyes. People are becoming more and more keen in our country, both investors and a whole number of other people as well. Now, we want to retain that standing, that positioning of South Africa. We belong to a very beautiful country, and we want South Africa to be beautiful when it comes to governance, when it comes to our politics, when it comes to nation building. We want to build a nation of a united people, people who are diverse, who speak different languages, who come from different parts of the country, but united around one thing and one thing only, which is to build a non-racial, non-sexist, a democratic, and a prosperous South Africa. Now, this month marks the centenary of Mama Albertina Sisulu, who together with President Nelson Mandela, we have dedicated this year to celebrate their lives. They would have turned 100 years. It has been an eventful year for us as a country. We, however, remain hopeful and confident that today or tomorrow will be better than it is today. Now, it was such an absolute joy to go to the United Nations this time round. And it was my first time to go to the United Nations. And it was an absolute joy to participate in the United Nations General Assembly debate, which was called the Nelson Mandela Peace Debate. We spent almost 2 days where you had more than 100 heads of state and government celebrating Madiba's life. More than 100 of them. It was fantastic to hear the whole world singing Madiba's praises, reflecting on his life. And reflecting on his life also meant that they were reflecting on us as South Africans, fully knowing that Madiba was made and fashioned and bred by this country and by all of us. It was a joy to hear the world talking about the values that Madiba stood for, the principles that he stood for, and everyone was talking glowingly about South Africa and Nelson Mandela. It was more of a joy as well to unveil the statue of Madiba right there in the United Nations. And many other statues are there, but they are half bust. Madiba's statue is full size. He stands there alone as a full size. Now that goes to tell you what type of a leader we had in Madiba. Completely revered by the whole world. Now, his statue has now been moved from where it was temporarily. It's now been moved to the main entrance of the United Nations. As people come to into the United Nations building, they see Madiba welcoming them there. You could have no other joy than that as South Africans. So, colleagues, we've been truly blessed by Providence and by everything else to have had leaders such as Mama Albertina Sisulu, leaders such as Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, Chief Albert Luthuli, and many others. We've been truly blessed, and we are the only organization that has had a galaxy of great leaders over time. And this is something that we need to draw strength from. Strength and a great deal of inspiration from. That having been blessed with such great leaders, let us utilize their aura, their values, the principles that they stood for to take our country forward. And I want to thank all the business people who are here for supporting this great organization. This is the organization that can take this country forward. Now, part of the money that you are giving today is going to enable us to run our election campaign. And we say thank you for that. What I can say is that this is an election campaign that we intend to win. And to win it overwhelmingly. We are going to win it, and we are going to beat them hands down. Because we are the African National Congress. And here in KZN, we are actually going to do much better than we did in the last election. So thank you very much for being here, for supporting us, and we are open to continue dialogue with you. If you have difficulties and challenges in advancing forward with your businesses and so forth, come see us. Let's see how we can unlock some of those difficulties. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I feel bad interrupting you, but the program has to go on. Current President, here we are a top 5, less the Deputy Chairperson who we want to apologize for because of ill health. We thought that on behalf of the ANC Musa Dladla region, we must give you something as a token of appreciation. And there was a big debate in terms of what can you give a president. We then thought of this, it is nothing much. If you could just unveil it, it is a picture of you signed by the RC in Musa Dladla. This is a picture with Umama Albertina Sulu and Utata Umadiba. You will see that yourself, Mr. President, is slightly bigger and taller. It is designed, President, to depict that you are standing on the shoulders of giants. So thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much for having addressed us. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you very much. Indeed, while Mr. President, you were speaking and reflecting on the experience you had at the United Nations, we must equally say, as citizens of this country, that it was equally a joy for us to watch you clarifying our position as it relates to land in the United Nations. I got reprimanded while the President was speaking that we did not recognize the leadership of the ANC Women's League, represented here by the Treasurer General of the ANC Women's League, Mamaite Mkame Mashaka. So we want to recognize the leadership of the ANC Women's League also in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, who is present here. I know that the Deputy Chairperson of that province, of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, is here. Ukhoreli uMagugu Simelane. Simelane. What we are going to do now is that, ladies and gentlemen, siphiwe ngendlela engafani, and we have different talents. Now, in this room, there is Ian. If you could come to the fore, Ian Wise. What Comrade Ian is going to do, and you must not be surprised if I call him Comrade Ian. What he's going to do, he is going to be in charge of a session, and a session for fundraising. He will explain the process, what is going to unfold. We've given him a particular task to achieve for us. So please, let me hand over to him. Afterwards, we will then come back and allow the regional secretary to do a vote of thanks for us. So it's no longer going to be a long program. So without a waste of time, let me allow Mr. Ian to take over.
Honourable Mr. President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I find it rather awesome to be standing up here after such an invigorating and admirable speech by Mr. President. Really and truly, I'm breathless. I don't know about all the comrades sitting here. It is actually the transparency, the leadership, and I think the important word that the President used was that word unity. That word unity, I think, must be on everyone's mind. And to achieve this unity, I say that it's through possibly a fundraising event like this that can do that. We can get out to the rural areas, out to everyone with the support of you people here. I think it is highly, highly important that we can contribute this evening to the ANC, especially when one considers next year. It's not very terribly far away. It's just round the corner. We're in October at the present moment. And the ANC requires our support to ensure that this victory that Mr. President has been speaking about this evening is achieved. So, ladies and gentlemen, the important factor here, and Mr. President doesn't hear this, any contribution this evening, I have two assets to auction. And then we have speak points at quite a few parts of the room tonight for pledges. So if you feel embarrassed about participating in an auction, please don't feel embarrassed going to these speak points and pledging to the ANC. You have 10 people at a table, so think about that. Your contribution from those 10 people you have at the table, and go to the speed point, or else we participate in the auction. All right. Very simple conditions of sale. There's no VAT. No 15% on any purchase. All right. We've managed to defeat that. Then we also have a situation that there's no buyer's commission. So there we go. The price you bid is the price you pay. And I think in such a memorable evening as we have here, and enjoyed and experienced such wonderful, wonderful words from Mr. President, I think it is up to us to actually repay here in financial contributions. All right, what do we have first? I'm on my own here. All right. Distinguished brethren, guests, comrades, we have here a signed autobiography, not autobiography, but Mr. President on the shoulders again, duly signed by the President. Again, who will open up an offer on this? Let's go. Can we say 10,000 to start with? At 10,000 I had. You're all laughing, ladies and gentlemen, but here we go. Sorry, that light is... Thank you very much. At 10,000 I have on the right at 10, I'm selling at 10,000 rand. At 10,000, ladies and gentlemen, can we say 15 anywhere? At 10,000 rand, 15 I have here at 15. At 20, so the bid is against you, 20, can I say 20,000 rand? I've got 15,000 on my left. At 15,000. At 15,000, that's the price of the canvas. Come, we have the President's signature on here. And I got 15,000. Can we say 20,000 anywhere? At 15,000, 20, 25 I got. At 25,000, 30, sir, are you with me? 30 I have. At 30,000, bids at 30, and I'm selling you 40 I have. At 40 I've got. At 40,000, 45, you mean 45, 50! At 50,000 I got here at 50. At 50,000, ladies and gentlemen. At 50,000, bids at 50, and I'm selling you 50,000 rand. At 50,000, at 50,000, remember, no 15% VAT. And I've got 50,000 rand. At 50,000, can we say 55, 60 I've got. At 60,000, bidders against you, sir, 60, 70 I have. At 70,000, bidders at 70, I'm selling at 70,000 rand. At 70,000 rand, bidders at 70, and I'm selling at 70,000. 75, at 75, 80, 85, at 85,000, bidders at 85, and I'm selling at 85,000 rand. At 85, ladies and gentlemen, what about this side here? At 85, I have on the right. At 85,000, it is at 85, now it's at 85. At 85, 90, sir. I yield 90, I got. At 90,000 it is. At 95. Excuse me, gentlemen. Don't lose it for 5,000. 95, 100 of you there. 100 I got. At 100,000, it is 100, I'm selling it 100,000. At 100,000, ladies and gentlemen. At 100,000. At 100,000, I've got. 110, 120. 120 I got. At 120 the bid is against you, sir, at 120. At 120,000. At 120,000 bid is 120, I'm selling at 120. At 120,000. Don't shake your head, that's negative. We are in a positive frame of mind tonight. Can I say 130, sir? I have 120,000 here. There's two of you, 65 each. At 130, are you there? Don't lose it. At 130 I have. 125, you're getting weak. At 125, the bid is at 125 is against you, so at 125, may I say 130, yes or no? Big pardon? 130, at 130 again here at 130. At 130,000. At 130,000, I'm selling at 130,000. At 130,000, don't lose it, it's a one-off. At 130,000. In 2019, when election of Mr. President, this will double. The value of this will double in 2019, I can assure you. And I've got 130,000. It's an investment. At 130,000, ladies and gentlemen, the bid is 130. At 130,000, I'm dwelling for your benefit. The bid is in front here at 130. And I'm selling at 130,000 for the first. At 130,000 for the second. Third and final call. At 130, I have a new buyer at 130. At 130,000 a bid. 140, 150, 150, 160, 170. At 170, are you there? 170 I have. At 170, what is it? 170, 180. 200 I've got. At 200,000 a bid. At 200,000 a bid is a 2, and I'm selling at 2. At 200,000. At 200,000 a bid. 210, 210. 220, sir, are you there? At 210, the bid to my left at 210, I'm selling at 210. Don't shake your head, it's negative. At 210,000. At 210,000, the bid to my left at 210. You will never get another opportunity like this. At 210,000. At 210, I have. 215. 215. No. I'm selling at 210,000. Are we all out at 210? I'm selling at 210 for the first. I'm selling at 210. Mr. President, are you bidding? You put your hand up. Are you bidding? I'm selling for the third and final call. 220 I have. At 220 I've given you, but thank you very much indeed. I'm selling at 220. At 220 the bid. At 220 the bid is at 220. I'm selling at 220,000 rand. At 220, Mr. Reddy, you're scratching the chin. 230, 240. At 240 I've got 250, 260, 270. 270 I have. At 270,000 bid to my left at 270. At 270,000 bid. Would you like to come back in again? Excuse me. Look at me. Don't look away. At 270, I've got on the left. At 270,000, bid is at 270, I'm selling at 270. At 270,000, ladies and gentlemen, I'm selling for the first. At 270, I'm selling for the second. At 270, and I'm looking at you, sir. 275. Another 5. 275. There's 10 of you here, 50 on each. 5,000. 275,000. I have. At 275, there is a 275. At 275, 280, sir. Deep in thought, we're having a boardroom meeting. At 275,000, the Germans bid in here in the middle at 275, I'm selling at 275. At 275, the bid. I'm looking at you, sir. At 275, at 275, sorry, people on the right have gone very quiet. At 275, the bid. At 275, I'm selling at 275,000 for the first. At 275 for the second. Third and final call. Are we all out? Sold at 275,000 rand. Thank you very much indeed. Excuse me, sir. Would you like to come up and thank you very much indeed for your contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades, thank you very much for your participation. We now have a slightly more expensive Comrades, during that little brief break in proceedings, has anyone gone to the little machines and done a pledge? Please, we require pledges. We're on the spirit now. Right, this is the final one I have to auction this evening. I've got the privilege of auctioning. It's a 3D mosaic of Madiba. It is incredible. It's been donated to the ANC for this evening. And one can see, whatever direction you look at it, you do have that 3D image of Madiba. All right, let's go. You got rid of the cheap one. Let's go for the more expensive one now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go make an offer here, please, for the mosaic 3D. Are you waving on? 10,000 I got. Opening bid at 10. I'm selling at 10,000 rand. Thank you, sir. 10. At 10,000, at 10,000 rand, a bit 10, 50, 20 I got. At 20,000, a bit at 20, I'm selling that. At 30, I have 50. At 50,000, a bit at 15, I'm selling at 50,000 rand. At 50,000, a bit at 15, I'm selling at 50,000, ladies and gentlemen. At 50,000 rand. Can we fit 60 I got. At 60,000, a bit at 16, I'm selling at 60. At 60,000. At 60,000. Sir, I'm being quite honest, don't bid against yourself. You're bidding against yourself. At 60,000 I have. At 60,000, if it is at 60, I'm selling at 60,000. At 60. Jeffrey, where's the 70? In the corner. At 70, are you there, sir? 70 I have. At 70, 80 I got. At 80,000, if it's at 80, I'm selling at 80,000 rand a bid. At 80,000 bid. At 80,000, 90 I have. At 90, 100 I got there, 100 I have. At 110, so it's against you. 110, 120, are you there? At 120 I have. At 120, the bids at 120, I'm selling 120,000 bid. At 120, the bids against you, so at 120, the bids on my right at 120,000. At 120,000, ladies and gentlemen, the bid is at 120. At 120, can we see 130 anywhere? At 120,000. At 120,000, the bid is at 120, and I'm selling at 120,000. At 120, ladies and gentlemen, can we say 125? At 120, I'm selling. At 120, I'm selling for the first. At 120, I'm selling for the second. I've got a smiling face now. It's worth another 10. It's worth another 10,000. At 120,000, I'm selling. At 120, ladies and gentlemen, I'm selling at 120. Are we all out at 120,000 rand? I'm selling at 120 for the first. At 120 for the second. Third and final call. All out at 120. Sold at 120,000. Thank you very much indeed, sir.